So I just got off the phone with someone after 2 hours. 2 hours is a long time to be on the phone, and it takes a special person for me to be on that phone that long because my mind is always thinking about something else, and I get distracted, or I just am completely bored or don't like the person enough. But this phone call was with a special person, it's my buddy Blake. And about a year ago, Blake introduced me to breath work, meditation, things that I always thought were kind of like foo-foo, not for me, I don't need that. And after, kind of working with Blake a little bit and learning those things, it's actually become a part of my daily life, even subconsciously, just like using different breathing techniques. And on this call that we were just on for 2 hours, it was basically just kind of an update call about a project I'm working on inside of my business and how we can work together on it and some of the just ins and outs. 2 hours, you can talk about a lot of different things. And there was something that he said in there that kind of stuck with me, that sometimes just when I'm talking to people, there's certain things that I either hear in a conversation or I read or I see that kind of hit me in the head. Like, that really, like, it relates to me, like it makes sense. And maybe even the same situation for you. If you see something on Instagram or who knows, whatever, you're like, damn, that's true. And it kind of makes you either want to screenshot it or save it. I know I do that sometimes on stuff that I like. And what basically we were talking about in this conversation was about testimonials. So, for example, let's say, someone who's a fitness coach, a testimonial would be something where a client of theirs says, I worked with X coach and I went from 50% body fat. I don't know if that's possible, but 50% body fat to 10%. Shout out to him. Which is a great improvement. Or, in the making money space online, you could say, I started investing in whatever, and I went from $1,000 to now my portfolio is at $10,000. Which is a testimonial, which is basically just like a product review, testimonial showing the success that your product or service actually works. And what we're talking about is a specific offer, things that he likes to focus on. He introduced me to a year ago, breathwork, meditation, those kinds of things, which have helped me a lot in certain ways I'll talk about here in a minute. And he was like, what's much more powerful and relatable to any type of product or service that helps someone achieve a certain result, where it takes their effort, whether that's starting a business, investing, anything related to that, is a real life transformation. And I think a lot of people, they focus on the nitty gritty and becoming that end goal, that object, compared to becoming the person they need to become to achieve that target, that goal, that object. So he said something along the lines of, if someone comes out of your program, your service, and they say, my life's changed much more for the better. I wake up every day like happy to be awake, excited to work on things, excited for this. I'm more mindful of what I'm doing. I feel like I have passion, I have a fire inside of me, and I love life. And, because of all these things that have been transforming in my life and my lifestyle, I'm now a much better weightlifter, I'm a much better investor, and I've been able to yield results out of that, but it's also helped me in other things. That's much more powerful than just, okay, I made $100. So, in the world of, I've seen this before, quotes of just, you need to focus instead of on that thing. Let's say your goal is to make $5,000 a month. Instead of, okay, how, only focusing on how can I make $5,000 a month, it's who do I need to become as a person? What's the difference between me and myself making $5,000 a month? Because your habits that take you from where you were to where you are now are not going to be the same exact ones that take you from where you are now to where you want to be. So shout out to Layla Hormozi. I saw that on her Instagram last night. And it's basically the same concept as, focusing on the person you need to become, not the object itself. It's important to have your target, your goal, and what you want to work on and know about that, but not to the point where you're not focusing on yourself. Because when you're chasing, it sounds cheesy when you only focus on making money, you might make some money, but to get to a level that you really want to be at, that you could never expect, you have to really focus on the person that you need to become. So, And to give you an example, I'll even get a little personal here with my story. Like last year, I've known Blake since 2017, but last year he moved to Puerto Rico. So we were here at the same time, kind of just getting started and learning about this place. And we hang out sometimes, and I'd gone over to his place one time, and we worked out, and we were talking. And I told him, I was like, we're sitting down, and I value his opinion, so I kind of just became very transparent and open to him. I was like, man, like right now, I just feel like I don't know what to do. Like, here's what I'm doing with my business. Like, here's like we're making this amount of money. It's like it's not great. It's not where I want to be, but at the same time, I don't know where I want to like go. And I think a part of that is just because I wasn't necessarily like fueled by passion in any way about what we were doing, and it was very much in a way detached from me. Like I didn't have to be there to do it, but I wanted to be involved and passionate about something. And I told him, and we had a conversation about it, and we ended up basically talking about breath work and stuff and things that he uses and how he breathes every day and uses this to just he's very much into it, much further than I am, where he's like goes to events and studies and this and that. He's very into that that level of performance and the body and curing through your body and breathing, not medicine, that kind of thing. And so we came over one night, and he's like, all right, we're going to do it. So we moved over to my living room. It's dark. We got the speaker. We were playing this audio track for a Wim Hof breathing session. He kind of gave me a little background, like what to focus on. And I was like, I told him, I was like, what do I think about when we're doing the breathing, like when we're holding our breaths? And he's like, nothing, which is a tough thing to do if it's your first time, but it's very possible to have a breakthrough. And breathing is another video, but basically we did this, and I felt some of the things just kind of tingly and felt very I felt human. Like if you take a deep breath right now, like circular breaths like that, in through your nose, out through your mouth, very deep. Like even right now, I can you'll feel kind of like it's a burst of energy in a way, but not like I want to go run a mile right now. It's more like I feel present, I feel here. It makes me feel not just like moping around. And that night I really got a sense of that, and kind of opened me the eyes. But he's like, it's like a muscle. Like you have to keep doing it and kind of figure out, and pushing yourself and trying to become better and focus on nothing. And I started using it to kind of like manifest, to like think about where I would be. I would literally get into a different place when I'm doing these like 3-4 minute breath holds, and like just imagining when I'm sitting down, like sitting on the balcony of my mountain house in North Carolina with these views and the weather and the house and exactly what it looks like and what I'm cooking in the kitchen, like very exact things. And I think things like that have helped me kind of become aware of more. So if I have a financial target, then who do I need to become to get there? And it's not okay, I need to become more productive. I need to figure out how to do more things in one day. It's more so about the consistent daily actions and habits that you need to do to get there. Because think about kind of like the compound effect. Before I was, even a year ago, like I wasn't on a strict diet or really going to the gym much. Like I was about 40 pounds more than I am right now, and not as much muscle, and just like fat. And I've kind of always been like that throughout my life. Like right now is the most fit I've ever been in my life, and I still feel fat. It's kind of a weird thing. But basically I started, figure out what are the habits that I need to do to get there. So one of those big things was like, for me, food and like alcohol, because you think about the compound effect. If let's say I one night or one day, I go out, I'm eating whatever I want, shitty food. And for me, when I eat shitty food, like a bunch of greasy or whatever, for me, my vice is desserts. So I would stuff myself with desserts or whatever and just like be out of it, like a food coma basically. Sometimes I fall asleep even for hours, like in the middle of the day. And then like drinking alcohol, like that's not gonna help either. I'm not gonna be productive or at a point where I'm like making very positively conscious, productive decisions. And then you wake up the next day, you're groggy or whatever. So let's say you do that one day a week, that's 4 days out of a month is whatever, 30 days. So over 10% of your month was dedicated to fucking off, basically, pardon my language. And that's 10% that you could use to grow for more potential. So that's, okay, I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm gonna stop, I'm only gonna, if I'm gonna have a cheat meal, I'm gonna have it in moderation. Like, I'm not gonna stuff my face and go into a food coma, because I'm gonna feel that for a couple days probably. And even days where like I was really unhealthy and I would have like binge back-to-back days where I would just eat shit, and like, you're like, damn, like if I wasted a week of just not being very productive and just kind of half-assing it, it's a week is, I like to think in fractions. So a week is 1/4 of my month, 25%. That's a big percentage. And then you think, okay, a year is like a pretty long time. But you think, okay, I messed up 1 week of the year so far. Like I just didn't get shit done. That's 1 out of 52. So you think like these things actually make a big difference. The days, the weeks, this all counts, even down to, I don't know if I would say the second does matter. But like, obviously you're not going to be a dialed in, crazy, disciplined person. Like by the second, always having to do something. I have time every single day. I'll sit down or look at my phone, or I love watching YouTube videos and, things like that, where it's not like I'm just super focused on a certain task. But yeah, don't focus on the object as much as you should focus on who you need to become to achieve what those targets are. And it can be tough to figure that out. What do you need to actually do? I think the best way to combat that objection is to sit down without your phone, without music, whatever, just kind of in silence and with a notepad or something, and write exactly what you see yourself doing. Your version of, say, what is me if I am, making $1 million a month? What is he doing every day? What are those daily tasks? What does my schedule look like? In a scenario that I envision, and kind of how do I reverse engineer that into, building my consistent habits, and, building habits are things you have to do every single day. And Blake, even on this call right now, he's talking about something along those lines as well, about like these calls with people, and like the first thing to do is like, all right, first thing you should do is write down, like, let's say imagine if money was not an object, what would you spend your day? If you have an infinite amount of money, whatever, what would you spend your day doing? What are you gonna do every day? What's the time? And then the next thing he was talking about, another idea was, a big thing that allows for people to make a breakthrough in their productivity is by simply, for a few days, every 30 minutes, every hour of your day, when you wake up, write down, what are you doing? Like writing it down, journaling. What am I doing? What have I done? And you're gonna realize, how much time you're spending being productive versus how much you're not. And then you're gonna kind of be able to find the holes in there and how to, incorporate more positive habits. It's not about grinding 12 hours a day. Like, there are parts of that and days like that, at least for me in like the world of business and stuff like that. But, it's more so someone can sit down on TikTok and watch videos for an hour and not even, think twice about it. When you could limit that to 30 minutes and spend another 30 minutes going on a walk outside, getting some sun, or, something like that. That's a positive habit that's gonna allow for you to become a better person and more positive and healthy. And I guess my own personal take on this, and for me, what's been the biggest transformation for me in learning these habits, because I have ups and downs, like there's swings where I'm feeling, really good about myself, and times where I'm like on the opposite side. And, I think anybody could relate to that. You're not always motivated in a way, but that's where your discipline has to come in. And I think for me, what's allowed for me to kind of pinpoint those habits is by consuming more like educational content and surrounding myself around that. I noticed that if I sit on TikTok or Instagram or something like that, and I'm like just watching entertainment stuff or like looking at people's Instagram stories, like you start to feel like you start to compare. And I think there was a quote I saw recently. It was like, comparison is the death of growth, or something like that. Because you can easily see what other people are doing and be like, damn, I wish that was me. And, makes yourself feel like, I'm sad. Like, why can't I be like that? And you get depressed or whatever, and you're not in the mindset of like working on your own things. So, social media is something to be careful with, and consuming educational content is very helpful. I consume entertainment stuff a lot. Like YouTube, I like to watch car videos when I eat my meals, and like things like that, just random like YouTubers or some people I like watching. But at least for me, like what really can cause the most like psychological damage and ruin a day is like just looking at people's Instagram stories or scrolling through my feed, where it's like you're just looking at people's highlights. Like we don't post, or at least most people don't post if they're having a shit day. If they feel terrible, unless they want like some acknowledgement, like, oh, I hope you feel better. I think it's stupid. But most people are just posting like the highlights. Like that's what Instagram is. We're posting what we want to post. It's not like Instagram is just documenting our life automatically. We decide what we want to post, and in terms of that, like because of that, we only see what other people want us to see, and that can make you feel some type of way. That's why you kind of gotta limit that. But educational content, when I say that, I mean more so like certain podcasts I listen to with people that I admire in one way or the other. It's not like I'm just, for me, I'm into like business, and I want to grow my business and that side of things, and investing long term, like certain goals within there. So I'm not only like consuming what I call educational content from like how to invest or how to make money or how to grow your business, or business moguls, like that kind of thing. It's more so people that I admire in any situation, people that have are a very happy life, or as it seems, or people that have are very entertaining, and I want to learn what they do, how they do it, like comedians, whatever, or people that just have a beautiful family and are living a life and like have things and value to share from what they're experiencing in life, that kind of thing. And honestly, just like talking to people that are in a place that I want to be in. Another thing, like you should never take advice, at least to heart, and apply it from people that are not in the situation that you want to be in on a certain topic. So like for me, it would be tough to take specific business advice from, let's say, maybe it's a professor that's making $50K a year as a professor. He's never actually had a successful business. He's never really operated at really any high amount of monthly income, revenue, or profit. And he is giving me specific advice on what to do with my business. I would be less likely inclined to actually take action and take those things to heart than if it was someone who has succeeded in the business world or in the space that I'm in, or achieve some level of success that I believe they can provide value to me. And it's not as much of an ego thing, but more so the reality of real growth. Most people that are not or have never been in the situation you've never been in are going to give, like, their intentions are never going to be completely pure when they're telling you certain things. And most people get jealous even if they're older than you. I've had many situations like especially like being online and social media, and a couple times in person, of like people like if I'm in a nice car or something, like oh, your daddy bought you that, like, oh, he must really love you. Like it doesn't sound too harsh, but like you can always tell when these people come up to you, they're like very ill-intentioned or jealous, or I really don't know what they're feeling. It's more so they probably wish they were in my situation in a way. I think it's funny, like the thing, daddy's money kind of thing, I think is really funny, because that should be the goal as a parent, right? To provide your child with what they want. Obviously, you don't want to spoil them and just hand them infinite money in the world to do whatever they want, but more so, yeah, if I want to give my kid a nice car, or I want to give my kid a nice life to travel, or if I want to give him an allowance, like I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to do as a parent. But I guess we'll see when I'm actually a parent, how that may change. I'm sure it will evolve, but yeah. I think that's all I got for this video, as far as focus on becoming the person that you need to become to achieve your targets than to not. And maybe you don't have targets, you don't know what you want to do. In that case, it's more so, how can you become a positively progressing person every single day? Maybe that's reading 10 pages of a book every day. Maybe that's just going for a walk 10 minutes a day. Just something that's going to improve your life every single day, and a habit that, maybe you don't notice anything different in the first week, but you do it every day for a couple months. You'll be like, man, I feel much better just going out for a walk 10 minutes a day. I get some sun, and it kind of just gives me a good start to my day, or I walk and see the sunset, whatever that is. It's really simple. But I think it is important to have targets to know what you're doing in this life, instead of just acting like a zombie, walking around, go to your job. I think jobs can be great. There's nothing wrong with them, but you should always have some type of alternative motive behind what you're doing in life, or else you're just working to build somebody else's dream and then die. So, yeah, and it's going to be my longest Tanner's Thought video yet, but hopefully you enjoyed it, you get something out of it. My goal with these videos is, if it can help one person in some way, then it's worth it for me. So I'm just gonna keep making these videos as I have random things that pop up throughout my days, and share my thoughts. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you engage, subscribe. You can like it if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, leave a comment whether you liked it or you didn't, and subscribe. Helps the channel. So I'll see you guys soon. Peace.